You're saying here that MENA is not just one market, and what's really special with the Middle East is how the regulators are working with attracting companies and creating business opportunities. But with that, you have a lot of harmonization requirements. And HSBC, you've got the, I would arguably say, the best network and the most established network, not just within the Middle East, but globally, to support in that. When you're a fintech, you've got so much regulations in each separate market within the MENA region. It's not like you get established in Dubai. You can't even necessarily deliver the same service in Abu Dhabi without the ADGM license, much less Saudi Arabia. So you need to be working with the different regulators for the licenses, and not least with funding and so forth. And how does HSBC support in that journey?
Yeah, so I think it's interesting for us because we're quite pervasive in terms of an international platform. We're agnostic to where companies want to go because we pretty much have a presence everywhere. And oftentimes you need an understanding of the company itself and the business. So really understanding them at its origin and then having a deep understanding at the destination. I think you have partners that we would reach out to really understand the local, but again, a lot of our franchise has been there for an extensive period of time. And so that conversation that we can have with our customers has very little friction because we have such a deep understanding of how to do it and how to do it quickly. And so, you know, whether you're a small company trying to expand, large company trying to expand, we're pretty agnostic to it. I think interestingly, actually, in the tech space, and as I said, I just came in from Singapore, you know, even though companies start off very small, their life cycle in terms of scaling is very quick. And investors, and maybe you can comment, they're not looking for companies that have a business idea that works domestically in one market. You have to start global first. And so what we're seeing is this conversation of international and the network and how they expand quickly almost being the first conversation, not a subsequent conversation to having scale in a domestic market.
So on that point, Durrani, the financial sector here and also the fintech is very advanced in Hong Kong and quite a different type of banking services that you see in MENA and a different demographic. How do you see the overlap there and the opportunities to tap into the different strengths?
So, generally, finance is sort of generic across the globe, but you're right, there's definitely nuances there. UAE is an advanced market, so it's already full of fintech. Everyone from India to Egypt to the US to European fintechs are all functioning in UAE as we speak. They could be everywhere across the whole chart, right? You've got everything from the crypto side all the way to mainstream project finance side guys, right? So there's low-hanging fruit still in there. There'll be consolidation. I think there's just too many players in that market. So someone big, for example, from China or Hong Kong could swoop in, buy a few of those products and sort of create a larger pocket that we would fund, because that would just solve so many of that competitive issues. But at the same time, Saudi Arabia is an example where there's low-hanging fruit everywhere. So I'll give you a very small example. Me and my partners were walking in the city and we just wanted to buy something quick, and no department store would take a Visa or MasterCard. And we didn't have local cash, so we couldn't even give them. So the only card they had to use was something like an octopus card called MADA. So that interconnectivity between platforms is available. Someone has to swoop in and do it. Other platforms like split payments between players, right? Between, individuals. We have PayMe here in Hong Kong, which is, I still use it even sitting in Hong Kong, in Dubai. I still, pay my friends through PayMe. But they don't have that platform. Careem, which got acquired by Uber for $3.4 billion, Careem had a small wallet angle for a while, but it never really flew off the handle because it was just too cumbersome, too many clicks to do one transaction. So stuff like that is available in those markets. It's just a matter of, you can't do it from here. Teams have to get up, have to arrive in Dubai or Saudi, sit down on the ground, build that relationship and go further.
But a reality check here, most fintechs are not profitable. We spoke earlier before going on stage that you have a 10-year perspective. You also highlighted that you have a long-term perspective. with the early startups going into a new market, especially a market that is extremely saturated in the paytech space. When we talk fintech in MENA, most of it is paytech. I want to ask you how you view the risk profile when you choose the companies to support, and how you view the potential of their being viable, because a lot of fintechs, it's just a race to the bottom. It's hard to differentiate yourself.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think depending on where you are in your life cycle as a company, you're going to have different financial needs. I mean, you may have seen that we just announced a collaboration agreement with Antler, which is one of the big regional accelerators. And we're providing, we're the preferred bank partner for all of the companies going through. And these companies are going from day zero. And you know, as a banking partner, we don't think about it just as kind of banking capabilities. We have growth advisory, we have thought leadership, of course we have transactional banking accounts, and those needs and you know, how they're tapped by a company really depends on how mature they are. But fundamentally, I think for us as a bank, and I can go into a little bit about how we're supporting this economy as a whole, you know, it's about banking the customer from the beginning and seeing them through the relationship. It's not about kind of coming in and out depending on the stage of the company. So we very much look at that, and I think as you partner with accelerators, you know, they're also doing their own filtering and funneling. So you can kind of rely again on the ecosystem in terms of the companies that you're looking at, the technologies. In terms of how HSBC positions itself vis-a-vis the opportunity across multiple sectors, even within the new innovation economy, again, we're pretty agnostic. So you would have seen we've actually increased our balance sheet commitment in the region for our new economy fund to about $3 billion, which is sizable. And if you think about that in the context of smaller companies, that's a vast footprint you can create. You're seeing us, you saw us launch in New York Climate Week a $1 billion commitment to climate tech, which, as everyone knows, is, you know, a key subsector within the innovation economy. So, you know, we're very serious about this. I think, you know, going to my earlier point around how this corridor is developing and bringing it back to the corridor a little bit, you know, we are accelerating and putting our commitment at the same rate as these things are developing. And so we're very confident that we're kind of partnering in the right way and kind of capturing the opportunity and seeing these companies hopefully go from day zero all the way through to being household names.